Jimmy O'Neill for Smart Talk 1490 KMET.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez. Good to have you on today's show. We've got a lot going on around the world. Some of it good, some of it great, some of it amazing, and some of it just plain downright weird. I literally saw a story yesterday which kind of broke me down in tears of a mother who actually killed her 3 kids. They were very young. And I haven't found out all the details yet, but and then she committed suicide on herself. This was a local story, and I kid you not, I'm very rarely ever an emotional person that ever like literally cries. But when I thought about it, and I thought of how these kids just look, they look so innocent. They look so honestly adorable. You're like, what happened in that house? What's going on in certain homes around the world that people think this is the way to go eventually? You know, what is going on in people's minds? So if you experience somebody that is having some mental issues or might be thinking of things a little off, which obviously this happened, there is no way a mother of 3, especially of these kids looking like the way they do, would be in her right mind and do this. You almost go, what's going on in our country? Because these are the type of stories we're starting to see more of. This isn't an isolated event. This is actually happening in other cities as well. So what's going on? You know, are people hallucinating? Are people getting and getting fevers and starting to think things that aren't there? Or, you know, what is going on about these things? Judy says, I've been reading about so many of these stories happening around the world. Yeah, and it's sad. It's really sad. So we'll talk about that maybe a little bit later. But it is Friday, and one of the great things about Friday is Tech Talk with Joel, because Joel's got some pretty exciting things in the world of, well, just autonomous. Right, Joel?
Yeah, we'll talk off the top about the self-driving tractor, the John Deere self-driving tractor that was featured at CES this year. It made a big splash. I'm a farm kid from Eastern Montana, and so this is kind of one of those things that piques my interest. And we're a family operation. I don't see most farmers in our area adopting something like this quite yet, considering I expect it'll have a huge price tag, and there's going to be a lot to learn before people totally trust such technology. But the concept and the fact that they created this thing is a huge bit of news, and it kind of gets the wheels turning, so to speak, about what could this look like and what could this mean for the industry when you talk about efficiency. And again, similar to like when Tesla hit the scene and they had their automation, the self-driving car, and people, that sparked a lot of conversations about, is this a good idea? Is this trustworthy? Is this going to work? And with time and with reiteration, these things get perfected. And farming can be no different. I think right now, again, it's such a new, fresh feature that a lot of people in agriculture are going to say, oh, it's not time for that yet. But when you talk about the huge operations, the biggest farming operations, not the family farm like I grew up on, but the big corporate farms, they're going to say the efficiency we can get with something like this is intriguing and probably has a place in the future. I drove tractor a lot as a kid, and fields aren't as perfect as they look from an airplane. They look perfectly square and straight, but when you get down there in our farming, of course it's earth, it's the ground. And so that's the stuff with GPS. They have to hone in on the perfection of the grid, because right now this tractor basically would be set up by the operator. They'd have to transport it to the field, and then set it up for the field they want it to take care of, whether they're seeding the crop or whatever the tractor is doing for them. And then it's going to use GPS to just basically back and forth or do a grid or whatever to complete the field, whatever they're doing to it. So Very interesting. You're talking about labor shortages in every industry across the country. Agriculture is no different. Family farms like mine have gone away in a lot of ways because they're going to the big corporate farms to be more efficient. So this is what that points toward.
Yeah. So I'm going to say this really quick. So I'm looking at the video on the John Deere website, which you can actually do at ces2022deere.com. And here's what I will say. Sorry, I'm trying to minimize this sound. My settings are all messed up. Anyway, it looks amazing, okay? Because I will say, I think it's needed. And I will say, I watched an article yesterday and a news report as well on the fact that the nation right now is going through a supply situation. On the East Coast, especially in the Northeast, there's a lot of problems with people getting food in certain markets due to the really ice cold that's happening, right? And deliveries are short. Some are getting coronavirus, obviously. And then just production is getting halted in certain areas because of the cold, right? Now, having said that, though, going forward, I think an autonomous vehicle like this, night and day, working around the clock, helps save crops, right? Because, there's only so much time in the day. And if, let's say it was at the time of harvest, growing up on a farm, that time is everything. And if you don't do it in an expedient manner, then the crops could go bad. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So to people who aren't in agriculture or don't have experience, you're spot on, Aaron, that time is huge. So whether you're getting your crop in the ground, it's really important you want to get that in as quickly as possible, because the sooner it's in the ground, the sooner it can take advantage of, for example, dryland farmers like we were. It can take advantage of whatever moisture comes that year. So if you're too late getting your crop in, you probably missed some of the rains that seed could have benefited from. Additionally, if it's about weed control and you're using herbicides for that, you want to get that on timely, or else the weeds get bigger and more out of control and they start to affect your yield. But if you can take care of that timely, then your crop has better opportunity to have a better yield because it's not competing with those weeds. Same with fertilizer, getting the fertilizer in on time. All those things in controlling crop rotation. If you're a crop rotator where you're giving your land a rest in every other year in some places, you want to control weeds during that time so that the nutrients stay in the ground for your crops that next year. So timing is everything. And then, as you said, harvest. When your crop is ready to be harvested, you want to get it off the field, because the longer it's out there, the more chance of spoilage, or a hailstorm comes and ruins your crop, a whole variety of things. As soon as it's ready, you need to get it off the field and in your bin so that now you have your money. You can go sell it at the market and have your savings account. But if it's on that, as long as it's out there in the field, it's still at risk for being damaged or spoiled. So absolutely, efficiency is a big deal in farming, and this points that direction most definitely. And as you said, around the clock. I mean, imagine being able to actually have those things done. Again, my personal experience, we did not like running tractors into the dark very much. I certainly spent many hours on a tractor, and I would love to give those back and have a machine do it for me, because at times you're just driving circles. It's gotten a lot better since I've moved away. My brother has bigger, nicer equipment, but we didn't like turning the lights on and running things at night. It always felt like that's when you're getting tired. You've worked 14, 16, 18 hours already, some crazy times of the year, and so you're tired, you're at risk of making mistakes that can be dangerous and costly. So if machines can replace those things, I mean, farming and ranching is one of the most dangerous industries in terms of, bodily harm and death. So these kinds of things could absolutely help with that as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at the video here, and it is amazing seeing it do its own thing without anybody in the vehicle. And it's made to be so that you can do it while in it. It's got like a good stereo system. It's got all the modern conveniences. But looking at it do its thing, and him looking at his phone and seeing it do its thing in an open field, is pretty amazing because, like I say, if it's out in the field doing it for you, I would invest in this 100%. There's still a lot of work to be done behind the scenes. You still got to make sure that that vehicle is good to go, but it can take care of big crop very efficiently. It reminds me of that game that my mom used to play called Farmtown or Farmville, right? And it just, you set it up, it goes, and you need to like do a field and make sure that it's ready to go. This does it for you. That's how excited I am. This is really the future I want for us, and especially for farmers. It still puts farmers in control, but it does so in a way that you're like, I'm not going to lie, I kind of want like a mower of the lawn now that does this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I have to give credit to my sister. A long time ago, when Segways were first came out, she said, "Why can't they create a Segway for like a lawnmower?" And I was like, "Oh, that's funny, right? Like that you could just think about at that time, like stand up on a Segway and mow your lawn. So now you're not pushing a lawnmower or whatever, like a riding lawnmower, but you stand up." I'm like, "Well, they could totally do that." Well, then like fast forward over time, there became these like autonomous lawnmowers that you map out your lawn and then just set it down and it just buzzes on and mows your lawn. I mean, they have that. Again, I haven't seen it go to like mainstream yet, but they created it. And so the technology is there. It has to be perfected. I mean, on a practical sense, when I talk about this John Deere product, I keep thinking of it in the lens of my family operation, and it's so far out there for something like that. But when you talk huge corporate farms, and I go to say like many parts of our own country where it's flat, or even like Canada, they have, I mean, huge fields that are just flat as paper. They're perfect and ripe for things like this because you don't have the harder to navigate terrain. They're big square fields. It makes sense, and you can do something like this. It's also a cost barrier. I mean, tractors that are not autonomous are already hundreds of thousands of dollars. A brand new tractor. It's gotten outrageous, the cost of agriculture equipment. But it hasn't really gone down. That's the crazy thing. Usually as things go on, costs come down, but because they keep making them bigger and more powerful and more technologically advanced, they continue to just get more expensive. So that's an interesting issue for an industry that is already quite lean. But again, in concept and in some situations, I'm with you that this has a great application for efficiency and safety.
Yeah, I'm all for it. When you understand the food supply is going to go from bad to worse, especially because, like, and I hate to say this, but Monsanto and certain seeds that go bad really quick, efficiency is everything. You need to make sure these things are taken care of efficiently. And unfortunately, a lot of the farmers are suffering already due to certain water situations. The price of water goes up. They need this in order to, reap bountiful food supplies. We forget about Middle America a little too much when we think a little bit of ourselves, and we forget where these come from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As you know, it's a lot of work. As you know, you can go into debt really quick and fast if that's your only form of business. But as you know, it puts a family to work, right? And then you grow up in that way, but not everybody wants to grow up in that way. They're like, "Hey, Dad, Mom, I want to do something else." You know what I mean?
Absolutely. No, it's a very hard living. I mean, it's a lot of work, but it's a labor of love in some ways. And in my family situation, we're generations down that have passed this down, and my brother will pass it down to one of his kids, and that's part of the kind of fabric of where it comes from. But yeah, I mean, John Deere proposed this essentially as a feed the world kind of concept, saying we can get more efficient, and that's part of their marketing pitch. But they have a point in terms of the efficiency with the exploding population in the world. We're going to hit 8 billion people, and how do we make sure they're fed? And some of these kinds of advances can help.
Yeah, and I'm glad we're going back to 8 billion because we were at 8.6. We lost, I think, a good billion through coronavirus, so we're at 7.6, I want to say. When we hit that again, we're going to need to make sure we're ahead of it. And you know what? Again, innovation, some people are like kind of weird about it, but I go, innovation like this puts us where we need to be. it puts the farmers' minds in check, and they say, okay, now I could focus on more crops, right? I know I only have so much bandwidth to do only so much, but now I can get this there where it's got to go to the food supply. But now I could invest in more land and double or triple my income, so we could be good for years to come. Does that make sense?
Possibly, yeah. The efficiency could definitely lend itself to that, and just quality of life. I think farmers, again, they work around the clock, and a lot of times they're just up at sunrise and don't come back till late. And so, quality of life for them and their families to not have to spend those many hours in a tractor is a big deal. I can speak for myself and just a family operation that I spent a lot of time in a tractor that I would have loved a robot to do for me.
Yeah.
It allows you to also then spend your energy on more important things, maybe on the farm where you keep things more efficient or clean, or just be there with your family and spend time with your kids in a way that you otherwise don't. Summer times are really, really hard for places like, the Midwest or I'm from Montana, where you have all the seasons and, spring, summer hits, and it's go time. You're just busy all day, every day.
Okay, well, let's do this. You've got a couple more things to talk about, including a color of your car changing on the fly thanks to BMW. Let's talk about that when we get back right after these messages. We got Joel Prevost of Prevost Partners. Tech Talk with Joel is what today is. Fun, exciting technology, man. I can't wait to talk about this one because it reminds me of a vehicle that I would like to own, just because I have like a bright yellow greenish one that I don't like, and I'm like, it would be cool to make it like a Batman color, you know what I mean, using this technology. So I don't know if we're there yet, but I'll wait for that after these messages, right after this. Stay tuned.
World-renowned psychologist, relationship expert, and best-selling author Dr. Carmen Hara hosts Live Now every Friday morning at 9 o'clock on Smart Talk Radio. Dr. Hara offers profound wisdom, practical advice, daily exercises, and empowering predictions, all for you. Experience your own positive transformation as Dr. Hara personally guides you to the answers that you have been seeking. Live Now with Dr. Carmen Hara every Friday morning at 9 o'clock Pacific Time on KMET Radio, podcast by SoundCloud.
Your health truly is the greatest gift. At U-Theory, quality of life is at the heart of every product we make. From farm to shelf, we travel the world to source the purest, most efficacious, and clinically studied ingredients to create science-backed supplements that support beauty, emotional, digestive, and physical well-being. All U-Theory products are manufactured at our Southern California facility, ensuring the highest quality standards every step of the way. As a family-owned company, we celebrate the power of human potential with a mission to inspire wellness in all. Try U-Theory Immune Plus Daily Wellness. 100% daily values of vitamin C, D3, and zinc. Go beyond the you of today and catch the you of tomorrow. U-Theory.
Hello, listeners. Christopher here from The Christopher Show. Hey, I want to talk to you a little bit about CBD. Now, CBD is not approved by the FDA as of yet. Myself, as well as millions of other people across the USA, have used it with help for pain, anxiety, sleep, and other conditions. Now, all CBD products are not equal. It really matters on where you get the CBD from. Now, I suggest you get it from a qualified pharmacist, and I happen to know of one. It's at Your Pharmacy and Mobility Solutions in Beaumont, California. They only carry pharmaceutical-grade CBD products of the highest quality. So, if you want the best, you go to Your Pharmacy and Mobility Solutions. Their staff is there to help you with all your CBD, pharmacy, and mobility needs. They're located at 1680 East 6th Street in Beaumont, California. Give them a call, 951-845-8252. Once again, it's Your Pharmacy, Mobility Solutions in Beaumont, 951-845-8252. Once again, it's Your Pharmacy and Mobility Solutions in Beaumont, California, 951-845-8252.
Get the up-to-the-minute forecasts and temperatures for Beaumont, Banning, Redlands, Palm Springs, your community, national or international cities on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. The station now features AccuWeather. AccuWeather offers weekend and extended forecasts along with the latest radar map and current conditions. AccuWeather on KMET1490am.com. Log in every morning for your daily forecast.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. We've got Joel Prevost Partners, talking about some cool technology. This one is really, I remember seeing a show called The Mantis, and it came and went. I think it only made one season, and it had the ability for a vehicle to kind of go invisible, but this is kind of the next best thing that's real. It really makes sense, and I'm wondering, Joel, if you're going to want to get this vehicle.
So, first of all, yes, I would love to have this vehicle, or at least this paint job. BMW at CES showed a feature, their e-ink, which is electrophoretic film that has these little microcapsules all over the car, allowing it to change colors at a push of a button. So the way they build it was, you could change your color to black to white based on the temperature outside, so that you, reflect the heat, or you absorb the heat if you're trying to, be more efficient. But basically, they could put whatever color you want in these capsules, so you could change colors of your car at the push of a button. And I'm just going to back up the train and say I had this idea when I was a little kid, and certainly not the electromagnetic concept or anything, but I had a Matchbox car that was hypercolor. Remember hypercolor shirts that you could just put your handprint on and then it would change colors? I had a Matchbox car that, they have this stuff. You put it under the hot water in the sink and it changes from blue to green, and you get it cold and it changes back. And I remember thinking, why don't we have regular cars with this? And I immediately thought, how cool would it be as a kid in Montana in the dead of winter to be able to have your car, when it's cold, it turns a certain color, and then just take a bucket of hot water, splash it on your car, and have this crazy pattern of a different color show up for a while, right? Until it gets cold again. I thought that would be so cool. You could do all kinds of fun stuff. So I just want to take a little credit that I dreamt about this as well.
Right.
Certainly didn't have the ability to put it into reality, or that it is the same thing, because this is a super high-tech version of that concept. But anyway, BMW's threw this out there at CES. It's gotten some buzz, and I think it's a really cool thing. I think for a bunch of reasons, right? Just really fun to change the color of your car. You whatever your mood is, you could say we're going to go out on the town in this way, or what have you, and no longer have to be changing cars or getting a paint job. It would just be as simple as push of a button, and that'd be really fun.
Yeah, and they call it e-ink, right?
Yeah.
It's the body's laminated with an electrophoretic film containing microcapsules the diameter of a human hair. Each capsule contains differently charged white, black, or colored particles, which become visible when an electric field is applied. So it's kind of like, and I love this. I've had a couple of vehicles I've been able to drive. As you know, I'm part of the Hispanic Motor Press, and we get vehicles every week, and we get to try them out. And one of them, I was so wild out about it, because this is what they have like on certain buildings, whereas it's like privacy glass. The moment you apply it, it gets like opaque, so you can't see out. And then when you turn it off, you can see out. And I'm like, I just love it. I saw this recently in an ad where this girl goes into like this glass bathroom, but the moment she goes in, she turns it on and it goes whoop, like privacy glass, like they have in Mission Impossible. You know what I mean? Back in or CIA mission. You know what I mean?
I've seen those, where the door shuts and it's like you can totally see into the bathroom until they lock the door, and then the glass goes blank. It's like some trendy bars were doing that stuff. It's crazy. No, I agree. It's really cool.
Well,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, of course, my mind also then goes to, again, this is going to be an expensive car regardless, but I'm like, so when I get a fender bender, then what, right? Like what does it
Right.
stop working, or does it just
Right.
stop working in that area? And then what is the cost to get it to where it works again? Like, again,
That's
those
true.
are the questions nobody has answers to yet.
That's true.
But again, like
It's
all
fun.
these cutting edge things, it has to start somewhere, and
Yeah.
then eventually it works. Exactly.
And I'm glad BMW did it because they did it right. You know what I mean? It says match the color of the car to your current mood. Look, here's what I think it's going to revolutionize if it gets to a price point. Again, it's brand new. I say probably we're like maybe 8 to 12 years out to where it gets like Santa on every car. But I could see it being a thing because there's certain vehicles that stand a lot longer because of the car color that they are. Does that make
Right.
sense?
It does. Yeah.
And
absolutely.
even the vehicle that I drive, I drive it only because I have to, right? But it wasn't the vehicle of choice when I saw it. I go, oh, I don't want bright neon yellow-ish green. And I've transported a couple people in, and they're like, I love it because it's young, it's hip, it's fresh. It's just not my style. You know what I mean? I would have gone with like a deep red or something. But it would be cool with the flip of a button for me to go to my style, which is honestly like Batman Stealth Black. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can see Batman going like, yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate
Absolutely.
that. But
So, yeah, you're totally right. I think about how many vehicles somebody buys and you have it for some years, and then eventually the color dates it because you
Yeah.
say, oh, that was that 1995. That was the color that they used for that vehicle or whatever. I'm getting dated here, but I remember that
okay.
happening with certain vehicles. Like, oh, that's the green color they all came out with that year. And
Yeah.
so both for that, like you say, oh, I just want to change it up so it doesn't look so dated. Or when you're reselling it, someone says, well, I'm not stuck with the color you chose. I can change it
yeah,
to whatever I want. So it's
Or-
like you're no longer buying a white car from so and so. You're just buying that car,
Or-
and you could. I mean, think about how cool that'd be to say I can make it whatever color I want when I get it.
Well, and I see this going next level. Like they have on certain ones, like they have LEDs on the outside. This isn't like that. This isn't as cheesy as that is.
Right.
But in essence, you probably could do different designs. Like you could do like a reptile theme. You could do, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
I can see my mom going tiger right here. Right? She'd be like, okay, I want to do tiger on the outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some people do what I call like they wrap the vehicles. I know because I was thinking about wrapping my vehicle. And when I saw the price tag, I was like, $2,300 to wrap my vehicle? No way, no thank you. So I don't know how much this is going to be out the gate, but the fact that it is here is pretty cool, and I'm okay with it. I do want to see if this is going to make it in the way of like a common thing down the line. I still think it maybe just is too new, too quick, too fast. But like you said, we got to start somewhere. And I do like our social media comment here. And this is a good application of this, I think. Judy says this, I invented a house color changing idea years ago, never did anything with it. Actually, this on even a mobile home or something to where the price kind of fits, it kind of makes sense to think of it like in different applications, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we tend to go, like, honestly, a lot of times to a boring level because it's not going to pigeonhole you in, oh, you have the bright blue or bright whatever. And so then you can't resell it or it gets dated. So we tend to fall into the trap of like, just go with the classic black, white, silver. And maybe that's what I kind of like those, but at the same time, it can kind of get boring out there, right? I mean, I've walked up to the wrong car in the parking lot because they all look the same.
Yeah.
And so, so it would be a lot more interesting, whether it's a house or a car, if we could throw a little color in the world and change it up, and it could change in an instant and be more interesting.
Yeah, I'm really happy for that. Apple, what's going on with Apple? I know this is an interesting situation.
Yeah, so there's a couple features that I just think are worth conversation that many people might not know about. So if you're an Apple user, this might be for you. So first off, Apple Watches obviously are a super popular product, but up until recently, in order to use an Apple Watch, you needed to have an iPhone to connect it to, and without that, the Apple Watch was pointless essentially. But now they have a feature that for the Apple Watch 4 or newer versions, you can make that a standalone device. And where this really plays in is for, especially I think for families like ours, where you have a kid who's really not ready to have their own phone yet in terms of that responsibility and cost, and it's not necessary, but there's a certain need for some connectivity, or at least a desire for connectivity. There are smartwatches out there. Don't get me wrong. There's other less expensive options, and I've researched them to great length. And some are fine, and people have good success with them. But what I've found is oftentimes there's not a lot for that sweet spot. They might have something like for really young children that has like, cute little colors and maybe a little game or something, and it allows some connectivity. But then after that, there's sort of a gap until you get to having your own smartphone. And I think iPhone has hit a sweet spot now where you're getting a reliable product that can connect. It would be able to make phone calls, text messages, and connect to certain apps without having a phone paired to it. So basically, in a family account like ours, I can set up my kid with their own watch that then works with the data plan. You do have to pay that data plan, but that's kind of the case with like the Gizmodo or any of the others. If you want them to work remotely, you still have to pay the $10 a month fee or whatever to have a have a data plan. So the Apple Watch now does that, and it's a really cool feature because in reality, like I use my son as an example, he's going to turn 10 this summer and he's ripe for this opportunity. So we have one on the way and it's supposed to arrive today and he's super excited.
Oh, cool.
And and so what that'll do is, he has an iPad that we allow him to have screen time with for fun. And that allows him to connect with friends when he's home and, send messages, what have you, FaceTime, that kind of stuff. But when he's on the go and he wants to maybe we want to let him know, hey, we're going to be running 10 minutes late to pick you up from this.
Right.
Now we can send that directly to him and he doesn't have to worry and say, where are mom and dad, right?
Right.
But he's not lugging around $1,000 phone in his pocket. That is probably a little too much for him to manage in terms of pockets and everything else and just the responsibility. So it's a really cool thing that I think people could look into. Again, we all worry about, okay, what if it breaks? I got him a little cover that he's going to be able to snap over that protects the glass to hopefully help with that kind of, letting a kid be a kid.
Yeah.
But I've seen this a lot now with some of our friends, and my brother did this with his kids. So something to look into if you're looking for kind of that sweet spot gap. And it's a thing that he'll use when the day comes and he does have a phone. It's still a great product that pairs well and he can use going forward.
Well, that's the great idea. And look, I know if I were a kid again, and I'm pretty sure you're there with me, we would have been all over that because we would have been like the Dick Tracy.
Oh my.
Hello, like what I mean? Like
totally.
The kids nowadays don't understand the Dick Tracy, mentality that we used to have as kids. But we're like, Roger, Roger.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. The fact that you can do it and it actually works well. I've had to do in between things, a quick talk on my watch, which I would have just made fun of before, but now it's like actually kind of works well in a pinch, and it's peace of mind. And like I said, these other products that I've seen that are fine, they're very temporary in the fact that your kid's not going to wear that watch once they do get a phone someday. They're done with it. So it's a temporary purchase. And again, that's all in the math if it makes sense for you. In this case, it's a watch that either he can continue wearing or we would pass to his sister. That's a great product that we know should last. I
think if they make walkie-talkie situations, friends would be like all over that. You know what I mean? It's one of those forever things.
Totally. Well, I mean, watches now do that. They have the walkie-talkie feature on the newest rendition of iPhone, so I can like tap on my watch and just have a walkie-talkie conversation with somebody as long as they are in my network and we've agreed to do that. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, well, I got somebody breaking into somebody's vehicle, so I got to go change my vehicle into another color that they don't want to break into, right? Anyway, no, I appreciate you, Joel, for spending time with us here on the morning show. Again, thank you for bringing us some pretty cool technology. The social media chat room is lighting up on this. They're like, let's see, Algeria says, Joel, you need to come down to the Georgia as Farming Expo over here in Georgia. Japanese in China usually comes, and I go down there and visit. They have all the farming equipment and different technology. Your team will love it. So, they're loving that thing. And then one says, High-Tech Batman 2025.
Yeah, the last farm show I ever went to was up in Canada as a kid, and it was amazing to see the newest, greatest, huge equipment. So I would love to be at that in Georgia. That sounds amazing.
So there we go. All right, Joel, give our love to your family. Stay safe where you're at, and be strong.
Thank you. You too. Thanks, Aaron.
All right. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more right after these messages. Stay tuned.
KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
What is commitment and why is it so hard to achieve? The new book, Committed, by Dr. Carmen Hara and Alexandra Hara, will make you reevaluate the way you think about love. Committed is a relationship manual that unfolds in 2 parts: the work you need to perform on the inside and the 7 distinct archetypes you will encounter on the outside. Committed, a new book available on Amazon by Dr. Carmen Hara and Alexandra Hara, will help to find and keep the love you deserve. Committed, available now on Amazon.
Standard time is here. That means shorter days and cooler nights that make you want to stay inside. Don't get caught in the cold. Franklin Mechanical Systems can do a preventative maintenance check on your heating unit to get it working right. For cleaning, repair, or a new installation, call them for a free estimate. Franklin Mechanical Systems, for all your residential and commercial heating and air conditioning needs. Call their Beaumont office at 951-845-1000. That's 951-845-1000, and stay warm today.
The Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Banning is distinctively suited for your travel time out of the car. Off the road, you'll find a courteous, welcoming staff in spacious rooms with desks, flat-screen HD TVs, and comfortable furnishings. Enjoy the complimentary breakfast buffet, high-speed internet, and fitness center and pool. The Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Banning, conveniently located off the I-10 near golf, gaming, and entertainment. For reservations and information, call 951-572-5500. That's 951-572-5500. Or go online at hiebanning.com.
Are you a self-published author that maybe underestimated the challenges of marketing your own book? I'm Suzanne Lynn, and we help authors sell more books through video interviews and radio advertising. You see, a professional video interview is really an author's secret weapon for marketing because it makes an emotional connection with your reader that can be posted to social media, YouTube, your book's landing page and website, your Amazon author page, and even sent to media to request interviews. We guarantee that video interview will be viewed by a minimum of 3,000 people in your target audience. And let's face it, no one can sell your book better than you speaking about it yourself. Plus, we can run commercials on our nationwide network of radio stations that targets your specific reading audience. Find out more at GiveMyBookWings.com. That's GiveMyBookWings.com. Again, GiveMyBookWings.com.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. I want to do a big thank you to Joel Preville, always bringing some fun to the week's, I'll say, upsetting news, right? And I will say this. Technology is always good when paired with smart minds. And I will say I am happy to state that this is a thing right now happening in our school system. Now, Jesse, you and we've talked about the school system as of the last couple of days. And even one of our social media comments from Rosalie said that she kept her kids home during coronavirus as of this week, I believe, right?
Yes, I remember.
So I saw a news report yesterday about teachers in Europe, and particularly France, that are striking and saying, hey, you guys are not thinking about our kids. Our kids from the school system are going to hospitals, right? They're obviously getting sick where? At the schools, right? That makes sense. So I said to my mom, it's just a matter of time that they're going to do this probably in the next couple of months, the way we're at it, because everybody is, we're going to send testing things to the schools. Well, you should be keeping people safe from going to school and just do what we've done before. We have to buckle down again. I keep saying this, but here's the situation that's happening right now. Students are walking out of their classes in Boston, Chicago, and other cities across the country in protest of in-person learning conditions as COVID rages on. Public school students in Boston are demanding that local leaders take more initiative in reducing the spread of COVID in schools and implement a 2-week period for remote learning. These are coming from the kids that are smart about the situation. Why are we as adults being stupid? Now, I know I'm calling some leaders out because I've said this over the last couple of days, even in private circles. I've said it makes no sense. They're doing stupid things. And I blame Biden. I blame Newsom. I blame the old men who are thinking old thoughts and not the new thoughts of, hello, even Trump made sure that there was a lockdown. Does that make sense? Now, I'm not parading Trump mentality or parade situation. I'm not. But what I am saying is in the first year and a half, we were able to say, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Newsom is the one that came up with the tier system, right? And even though I don't agree with it being purple, whatever the color of the day is, we're not doing anything with the tier system as of the last 3 months, which if we did, we would be ahead of it. Now, according to a post from the student-run Massachusetts COVID Walkout Instagram page, they said, we will then stand there for exactly 10 minutes, 1 minute for every 100,000 COVID cases found on the 2nd of January. In a statement to ABC News, Boston Public Schools said it believes deeply in students advocate for what they believe in. Boston, get behind these students. They're the smart ones, okay? They're not saying end school. They're saying, look, we should be in a 2-week lockdown. Let us learn remotely. We don't want to get each other sick because it's what's happening. So the statement said this: we further believe it is critically important that we encourage and support them in expressing their concerns, beliefs, and positions to their leaders. Yes. We will continue to listen to our students and families as we navigate this latest surge and the impacts it has on our ability to remain in person and deliver a quality education. It's not hard. These are high school students, by the way, Jesse. All right? If you and I were high school students, I would advocate for this 100%. I know my family would have been against it, me walking out like this, but I understand where this is going. And if students at this age are understanding that, using their thinking minds and going, hey, this is kind of obvious, why don't we stay safe during this? If I said universities are doing it, why is our public school system so behind? And I would even challenge it to say this: are you really thinking that you could throw us to the wolves, literally, that you want us to get sick because of it? If everybody got the plague, do you think they would put us back to school, Jesse?
The plague?
Yeah.
I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I always have to go to that extreme because people forget what is doing to people. We do not have a vaccine against yet here. They do in Israel. It's called Pfizer. It will come out in March. There's a lot of news, a lot of buzz about it. But even if you got the other vaccines, you're still getting sick because is a new variant from South Africa. Okay, we've only had it here for the last couple of months. So people are getting really sick with it. By one estimate, they said all cases in the hospitals right now that they're overrun with, 86% of them have Okay? So, yeah, these kids are right to do this. In spring of 2021, Massachusetts officials said, and again, spring of 2021, this is last year, not that long ago, said remote learning would no longer count toward required learning hours. Any school-wide remote learning days must be made up by students and teachers at the end of the year. Well, I say you're stupid. Okay? It should always count. That's why we have a remote, like you and me, Jesse, right? We're working, are we not? We're remote, are we not? You could technically do this, from your home if we set it up at your home, right?
Oh my God, if we could have this set up in my home, I would be so happy.
Yeah, technically it can be done. There's a way to do it, but we haven't done it yet. But my point is, that's the workplace. If you could do it for the workplace, you could do it for students, okay? All they're asking is for a couple of weeks of a reprieve because they're getting sick. Boston Public Schools has reported 3,483 COVID cases as of January 5th, according to the district website. Okay, I would say a good third of those are preventable. Students in Chicago are walking out of the classes today demanding that schools address safety concerns when it comes to COVID. Chicago Public Schools Radical Youth Alliance, a student-run advocacy group, sent a letter of demands to Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, CEO of Chicago Public Schools Pedro Martinez, Chicago Department of Public Health Commissioner Allison Arodi, and the students asked for transparency and accuracy in the school's data of COVID. Smart, because there is currently bad data out there. Youth participation in decision making and accountability for mistakes. The letter reads, as you consistently improve yourself and your leadership to be incompetent, thank you. Finally, it's being said. I've been saying this in a way. They say we as black and brown young people are the common denominator of being the most harmed and impacted. We are tired, exhausted, and frustrated. Oh, by the way, nurses are standing up now too, Jesse. Remember we talked about that news yesterday of how they're putting nurses on the front lines with other sick patients, and basically they're putting coronavirus positive nurses with coronavirus positive patients. This is stupidity at the highest form. People need to call it out. So nurses are starting to say, why do you want us dead? You need us alive to take care of you if you have to go to the hospital. So there are simple little things you can do that we did already a year and a half ago that are proven to keep them safe. Shoot, even Asia knows how to do that. They put lockdown on 3 major cities. Millions of people are on a lockdown right now because AMA is getting out of control. Why are we stupid? The group backed the Chicago Teachers Union, which narrowly accepted a new agreement on COVID safety precautions. Chicago Public Schools had 10,928 cases among their students and staff since the start of this school year, according to the district website. Again, probably more than a third could have been prevented. In a statement, Chicago Public Schools said it remains committed to fostering learning environments that allow students to respectfully deliberate issues with evidence and an open mind and safely participate in civic action. It's not hard. Get a freaking VR device if you're going to act that dumb, is what I say. You're killing our students. You're killing our bright minds, and you're killing the future of America. It's sad but true. According to the CPS website, students are required to wear masks in schools and answer a self-screener symptom questionnaire before school. Testing is optional. Do you understand why this is dumb? Protests in New York, California, and other states have highlighted the growing concerns that school leaders are failing to address COVID and its impact on education and health in schools. And I say yes. This is why I say, Newsom, get your head out of wherever it's at and get it right. Because the school of students is smarter than you are at this point. They're calling it out, and I say keep calling it out until they listen. I cannot imagine you would let this go on deaf ears. It's like, oh, we don't have Zoom. Did you forget? We did this. They're smart because of it. We do it until we can go back. Just implement a little 3-week, hey, we're going to do it at home. It's not that hard. If my goddaughter can go to college in Irvine, and Irvine, being smart, said, you know what, we're going to go back to virtual learning, then I'm pretty sure these kids are smart in the next 3 weeks if they do it this way. And parents, stand up for your kids' right. Okay? Rosalie, you're the one that called it out. You said that the school was asking about this. Good. You know what? Stand up as a parent. Say, I disagree with the way you guys are handling this. I do not want my kid to get sick. All right? And then, or if they get sick and they bring it to the house. And then you get everybody sick. You get grandma sick. You get grandpa sick. You get the ones that you're taking care of sick. Do you understand? These kids are smart. They're reading this and they're going, wasn't that hard last year? Right? So good job, kids. Keep doing that. Man, these is just ridiculous. Anyway, Jesse, you got a story. Go ahead. Take me off this soapbox.
No, it actually involves the school as well.
Okay.
So when you went to school, did you ever have after-school programs?
Yeah, we had after-school programs. I don't think I did any of them, though.
Okay. Did you have after-school programs by that were made by the church or a religious group?
Ooh, like YMCA?
Is that a religious thing?
Technically, yeah, technically it is. But I would say somewhat, I remember, but during summer school.
Okay. Now, did they try to convert you?
No. I wouldn't
No?
let them, but no, they never tried to convert me.
Okay, so an Illinois school district is defending an elementary school offering an after-school Satan Club, an extracurricular educational program sponsored by the Satanic Temple of the United States. Now, before you jump to this,
Yeah.
they do believe in God and they do not believe in the devil. They use that name purely just for irony or whatever.
You do understand that would be a Satan thing to say, right?
I understand. But if you have so the program for children in grade school, 1st to 5th, will be taught by volunteers at the Jane Addams Elementary School and will meet 5 times this year beginning Thursday. According to the flyer, the club will consist of science projects, puzzles, games, arts and crafts, and outdoor nature activities. The club says it will help children learn benevolence and empathy, critical thinking, problem solving, creative expression, and personal sovereignty.
Right there, it already starts. People don't understand personal sovereignty. Forget it. Look, look. I don't have to be a scholar to understand. This is how pedophiles work. Okay, they go, look, I have candy. I'm harmless. Granted, I might, rape you, pillage you, and put you in the ground later, but I don't need to tell you that. No, Jesse. The moment it says a satanic cult and it says Satan, no matter what they claim, I say no.
But you don't know the history behind this place.
I don't need to, Jesse.
See, but you're seeing it through the eyes of a religion. You know what I'm saying?
No, they just said the word Satan. Satan is in what religion? Not. It's in the Bible. So you know what Satan means? It means resistor.
I understand that, but this is trying to bring another way into, just get the religion thing out of your head. You're stuck in that. Stop thinking about Satan as bad and God is good.
Okay, when did you ever hear Satan was ever good?
You'd be surprised. But no, but the point is, what I'm trying to say is, if a church can make an after-school program, why can't they?
I'm confused on that question. Ask it again.
If a church can make an after-school program, why can't they, to help the kids and stuff like that?
No, I understand. I get it. There's angels, there's demons, right? I get that. Why can't demons have a school for themselves? Is that what you're saying?
No, see, look, you're bringing the supernatural in this. They don't believe in the supernatural.
But Satan is a supernatural thing.
I know, but you don't know the history behind this place.
Would you name your kid Satan?
What? No, I call him Santa.
That makes sense.
It's just rearranging the words. But it says it brings a lot of discussion, and a lot of people will automatically bring their faith into it. And it's just, sometimes you just have to get out of it and stop thinking about your religion controlling the world, because your religion does not. There are many religions in this world. Yours does not govern it all. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not against, I love religions, I love faith, and I love the fact that everyone is so different.
Yeah,
but
I get that.
But persecuting someone because of what they believe, that's just wrong.
Well, I say this. It's good to have a healthy discussion. I believe in Satan just like I do any angel, because he used to be a marvelous angel. Again, I don't care if you call it not supernatural, it's supernatural discussion. But my point is this. At the end of the day, everybody has the right to believe the way they want, but at the end of the day, there's good and bad. And if I have a pedophile in the room, I'm going to call him out, all right? And I'm pretty sure a good amount of pedophiles, including Manson, love that name. So my point is, I know for me. But my point is, whether I believe in religion or not, I already know what kind of mentality that takes. I don't want that a part of me. I don't want that a part of us. If anything, I would say, Governor Newsom, do the right thing for coronavirus. And whatever you believe, I don't really care. Just do the right thing, right? Anyway, all right, that's our time. That's Jesse's story.